My name is Brent Bradshaw, and I'm going to discuss my beliefs as to whether or not leaders of corporations should be subject to a code of ethics similar to that of a lawyer and/or doctor. This is me. I'm not unlike your typical guy that lives in the United States. I'm married with 3 kids, own a house, a truck, and a dog. My job currently is working for Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers, which is a public company on the New York Stock Exchange. Prior to this, I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the Big 4 professional consulting firms. I mention this only for context, as I've worked in the corporate world for over 15 years now and understand how it works and how many stakeholders depend on the success of these companies. Why do I work? Like you, I have a budget. I have bills to pay. I have a mortgage payment. I have a car payment. I'm saving for the eventual tuition of my 3 kids. But more importantly, I'm saving for my retirement. Back to the doctors and lawyers here. We all know they have professional codes of ethics. Doctors are bound by the Hippocratic Oath, swearing to practice medicine honestly. In addition to this, they are also bound by a code of ethics that's dictated by the medical association to which they belong to. In the U.S., the practice of law is regulated by state governments, and each state has a code of professional conduct that dictates the rules of ethics for lawyers. For both doctors and lawyers, they serve the public, and when their duty is not ethically conducted, they're stripped of their respective responsibilities. Now back to the corporate world. Most companies today have a code of ethics that's developed in-house but doesn't follow any specific conventions. Therefore, inconsistency between companies happens. What's needed is an international standard of business ethics which would be mandatory for all companies and their leaders and would be managed by an international body. These standards would include reference to integrity, commitment, and truth in all business dealings. Similar to doctors and lawyers, the leadership teams of these companies have an obligation to the public. Society is investing their savings into these companies and relying on these leaders to safeguard and grow their capital. Like the lawyer and doctors, where this trust is broken, these leaders should be stripped of their responsibilities. One of the most ethical leaders in the business world today is Warren Buffett. His rule of thumb on ethics: if you are not willing to have a particular act on your part on the front page of your local newspaper, don't do it. Ethics is of utmost importance for corporate leaders today. Some examples of where leaders did not take ethics seriously are very simple to find. Kenneth Lay and Jeff Skilling of Enron, Dennis Kozlowski of Tyco, Bernie Madoff of Madoff Investments, Bernie Ebbers of WorldCom. What do these guys all have in common now aside from being ex-CEOs? They're all behind bars. So, if we circle back to the original question as to whether or not corporate leaders should be subject to a code of ethics similar to that of a lawyer and/or doctor, to me, this is a total no-brainer. The answer is definitely yes.